Leon Festinger, the man who discovered why we lie to ourselves. What happens when reality collides with belief? Maybe you bought something expensive and later realized you didn't really need it. Instead of saying, "That was a mistake," you said, "It's actually good quality." Maybe you stayed up late before an exam and told yourself, "I work better under pressure." Or maybe you argued with someone and later thought, "I was right," even when part of you knew you weren't. If you have ever done this, you are not strange. You are human. The reason behind this behavior was discovered by a psychologist named Leon Festinger. He discovered something called a big term that explains a very simple idea. It explains why we lie to ourselves. Let's tell his story in simple English. Leon Festinger was born in 1919 in New York City. He grew up during a time when psychology was still developing as a science. In the 1950s, many psychologists believed humans were simple creatures. They thought people behaved because of rewards and punishments. If you reward someone, they repeat the behavior. If you punish someone, they stop. Simple. But Festinger believed something more complex was happening inside our minds. He believed people care deeply about being consistent. We want our thoughts, actions, and beliefs to match. When they don't match, something uncomfortable happens. And that discomfort can change the way we think. In 1954, a woman named Dorothy Martin claimed she was receiving messages from aliens. She said the world would end on December 21, 1954. A huge flood would destroy Earth. But she said true believers would be rescued by a flying saucer. Some people believed her. They did serious things because of that belief. They quit their jobs. They sold their possessions. They stopped talking to family members who disagreed with them. They fully committed to the idea that the world was ending. Leon Festinger heard about this group. He became very interested. He and his research team secretly joined the group. They pretended to believe the prophecy. They wanted to observe what would happen. Most people thought the answer was obvious. If the world did not end, the believers would admit they were wrong. That seems logical, right? Festinger predicted something different. He believed that if the prophecy failed, the believers would not give up their belief. They would believe even more strongly. December 20th came. The group gathered together. They waited. Midnight passed. Nothing happened. No flood, no destruction, no spaceship. If you were there, what would you do? Would you say, "We were wrong"? That is what most people expect. But that is not what happened. Instead, the group said something surprising. They claimed that their strong faith had saved the world. They believed that because they were so devoted, God or the aliens decided not to destroy Earth. Instead of weakening their belief, the failed prophecy made them stronger. They began telling others about their experience. They tried to recruit more followers. This shocked Festinger. But it also gave him the answer he was looking for. The big idea, cognitive dissonance. In 1957, Festinger published a book called A Theory of Cognitive Dissonance. In this book, he explained his new theory. The idea was simple. When we hold two thoughts that do not match, we feel mental discomfort. He called this feeling cognitive dissonance. Let's break that down. Cognitive means related to thinking. Dissonance means conflict or tension. So cognitive dissonance means mental conflict between two ideas. For example, I am a smart person. I just made a very bad decision. These two thoughts do not match. If you believe you are smart, how could you make a bad decision? That conflict creates discomfort. And humans do not like discomfort. So what do? We try to reduce it. 3 ways we reduce dissonance. Festinger explained that people usually reduce cognitive dissonance in one of 3 ways. Option 1. Change the behavior. You admit the mistake and fix it. I bought something I didn't need. I will return it. This is the healthiest option. Option 2. Change the belief. You adjust your thinking to protect yourself. It wasn't a bad purchase. I deserve it. Option 3. Add a new justification. You create a new reason to make the decision seem okay. It was expensive, but it will last a long time. Most of the time, people choose options 2 or 3. Why? Because protecting our self-image feels safer than admitting we were wrong. The famous $1 and $20 experiment. Festinger wanted scientific proof for his idea, so he did an experiment at Stanford University. Participants were asked to do a very boring task. For 1 hour, they turned small pegs over and over again. It was repetitive and dull. After finishing, the participants were asked to lie to the next person and say the task was enjoyable. Here is the important part. Some participants were paid $20 to lie. Others were paid only $1. Later, the researchers asked them, "How much did you actually enjoy the task?" You might think the $20 group would say it was more enjoyable, but the opposite happened. The $1 group reported enjoying the task more. Why? Because $20 is a good reason to lie. If you get paid $20, you can think, "I lied because I was paid well. No problem." But $1 is not enough money to justify lying. That creates discomfort. So the $1 group reduced the discomfort by changing their belief. Maybe it wasn't that boring. They convinced themselves it was enjoyable. This experiment clearly showed cognitive dissonance in action. Why we care so much about being right. Cognitive dissonance explains something important. We care deeply about seeing ourselves as good, smart, and consistent. When something threatens that image, our brain works hard to protect it. This is why. Smokers say, "My grandfather smoked and lived to 90." Investors refuse to sell losing stocks. People defend politicians even after scandals. Fans support a team even when it keeps losing. The stronger the commitment, the stronger the dissonance. If you have invested time, money, or identity into something, it is harder to admit it was wrong. So instead of changing the belief, we change the story. Cognitive dissonance in everyday life. You do not need to join a cult to experience cognitive dissonance. It happens every day. If you believe, "I am a healthy person," but you eat junk food, you might say, "I'll exercise tomorrow." If you believe, "I am kind," but you hurt someone's feelings, you might say, "They deserved it." These small justifications protect your self-image. And most of the time, we do not even notice it happening. That is how powerful it is. Festinger's lasting impact. Leon Festinger's work changed psychology. His theory influenced marketing, politics, education, business, behavioral economics. Today, cognitive dissonance is one of the most important ideas in social psychology. It helps us understand why people ignore evidence. It helps explain social media arguments. It helps explain why people stay in unhealthy relationships. It even explains why change is so difficult. Festinger died in 1989, but his idea lives on because it describes something deeply human. The important lesson. The most powerful part of Festinger's theory is not about cults or experiments. It is about self-awareness. When you feel uncomfortable after making a decision, that feeling is not your enemy. It is information. Instead of quickly defending yourself, you can pause and ask, "Am I protecting my ego or facing the truth?" That small moment of honesty is powerful, because growth does not happen when we defend ourselves. Growth happens when we are willing to feel uncomfortable and learn. Leon Festinger showed us something surprising. Humans are not always searching for truth. We are often searching for consistency. We want our thoughts and actions to match. When they do not, we feel tension, and that tension pushes us to explain, justify, or rewrite reality. Cognitive dissonance is not a weakness. It is a normal part of being human, but understanding it gives us power. The next time you catch yourself saying, "It's fine, it doesn't matter, it wasn't that bad," pause. Ask yourself why you are saying it, because in that moment, you may be watching cognitive dissonance at work, and awareness is the first step toward real honesty. That is the legacy of Leon Festinger. He did not just discover a theory, he gave us a way to understand ourselves better. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who might need it, and don't forget to subscribe for more content on living a more intentional and fulfilling life.